So this is a song that we wrote, that I wrote with my friend Mike Richardson, who's from southern West Virginia, and it's about the coal mining wars in West Virginia in the 1920s, called the Battle of Blair Mountain. 2, 3, 4. Find a vein, drain the black gold, hoping to God that the timbers hold. Like my father before me, it's all I know. We live only to harvest the coal, harvest the coal. Mine owner's mercy, about as shallow as a grave, a living in shanty towns. We ain't got no say. The 14-hour shifts, such a meager wage. And Mother Jones can't help us now anyway. Anyway, we'll take the roads, we'll take the trains by force. Oh, deliver us love from the gathering stores. Lay down your Bibles, take up your guns. Blair Mountain, here we come. Oh, here we come. Red bandanas that tell us what side you're on. Yeah, we're the rednecks of the Union 1921. We'll leave tonight at 13,000 strong and take the fight to Blair Mountain before the dawn, before the dawn. We'll take the roads, we'll take the trains by force. Oh, deliver us love from the gathering stores. Lay down your Bibles, take up your guns. Blair Mountain, here we come. Oh, here we come. Oh, I fight for my father, still buried in the mine. I fight for my son, so he'll have a better life. We're soldiers of a great war, and it don't seem right to treat a man like a dog just to make a dime, just to make a dime. We'll take the roads, we'll take the trains by force. Oh, deliver us love from the gathering stores. Lay down your Bibles, take up your guns. Blair Mountain, here we come. Oh, here we come. Here we come. So find a vein, drain the black gold. You better hope to God that those timbers hold.
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you.
For as long as we can remember, The working people of New York have been told that power does not belong in their hands. Fingers bruised, palms calloused, knuckles scarred with kitchen burns. These are not hands that have been allowed to hold power. And yet, over the last 12 months, you have dared to reach for something greater. Tonight, against all odds, we have grasped it. And Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties. This campaign is about people like Wesley. People like the woman I met on the BX-33 years ago. People like the taxi driver I went on a 15-day hunger strike with outside of City Hall. My brother, we are in City Hall now.
where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, daily, plenty more. Her sense of fashion, you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack, 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 Riverboat Jack.
That's what I'm talking about. First time singing the songs for Riverboat Jack. Shout out. I don't know what I'm doing really, but I got passion. That's what it's about. It's all about passion.
Riverboat Jack. fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack, 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 Riverboat Jack. Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack, 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 Riverboat Jack.
That's what I'm talking about. First time singing the songs from Riverboat Jack. Shout out. I don't know what I'm doing really, but I got passion. That's what it's about. It's all about passion.
Jack, Riverboat Jack. Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack, 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 Riverboat Jack.
Hello, everybody. How we doing today? In about 20 minutes, we'll be calling in and bringing in Karishma Manzour, Senate candidate running in New Hampshire. It's going to be very, very cool. I do have alerts turned off, so if you're looking for text to speech or even like a bling on screen, those are going to be off. I'm sorry, but I will read any of your donos. Not Smirt, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Got jump scared by being a white name. Anyways, who's the best ST medical officer, and why is it Dr. Tana of the Cerritos from Star Trek medical officer, and why is it Dr. Tana? I really like the Doctor from Strange New Worlds. I like him a lot. Hello. Oh, sick. I'm a New Englander. Hell yeah, this is very much up your alley today. Also, Cute Dark Arts. Hello, everyone. And I do apologize if my voice is sounding a little bit off. I'm a bit under the weather. Honored to be here with you in chat. It's great to have you here, Mobilizer. Hello. I'm really looking forward to having just a good interview with Karishma. It's gonna be good. I'm excited for it. I prepped for it, as best I can. And there are commands in the chat, which mods feel free to periodically use them. But Karishma, just exclamation point Karishma in chat, you get a link for Canvas, phone bank, volunteer stuff. I want to make sure you guys have the all in on there to help out her campaign. No, I hope you get better soon. I'm not that sick. I just my throat is a little rough, as it were. So I'm gonna need you guys to be on your best behavior today. And the way this is going to work today is, at least in my head, if, of course, she has time, we'll have our conversation. I expect that to last about an hour. And if you guys have questions at the end of that, and if she has time, we'll take some questions from you guys. So be thinking if you have any questions for her, and we'll see if we can get them asked. But Jack, I have a DSA meeting soon. I'm sorry. Did my comment get removed? I don't know. Is the interview going to be the whole stream? I don't know. My ability, it is heavily dependent on what's going on in my life here physically, IRL. So the answer to that is maybe, possibly, but yeah, I'm gonna be doing my best. Tomorrow should be back to business as usual, and also on Thursday I will be on, I believe, the Transatlantic Call-In Show again. I will be helping to co-host that on Thursday. Yes, I am on Takis. Okay, we are live. Going to be joined by at Karishma Manzour for Senate in about 15 minutes. Get in the boat. Twitch, YouTube, and riverboat.gg. And I'll post a slightly cute selfie. There we go. Whew. I'm doing so much campaign work, so we'll try to be present. That is a-okay. I know so many folks who have gotten involved right now look, if you've been showing up and volunteering for primary races, like it is the pressure is on now. Like we're a handful of months out from some of the primary days, and look, I need look, okay, look. I'm just gonna take a quick gander here. All right, we have. Whew, I have not conditioned you guys to being used to early streams. I'm so sorry. Let's see. What if we... I'm going to tweak the title of the YouTube stream real quick. Whew. Audio, or is it just me? Is my audio not okay? Okay, cool. Allergies. Oh, it might be allergies, but probably not. But yeah, that rally I'm doing got pushed back to July 18th. Okay. Good to know. We've got over 50 folks in the community joined up with DSA. That is excellent. Excellent stuff. What discipline of science does Karishma do? Karishma has like a 20-year career in like biochemistry and research. She like spent a lot of her career researching treatments and cures for Alzheimer's, epilepsy, depression, stuff like that. She's a really good egg. Even without text-to-speech, I still have funny stories before the interview. For example, I caused my workplace's bathroom to flood last Thursday and that has continued to cause problems today. Oh no. Thank you for the $15 dono, not smirt. And also thank you for being the first person to support stream today. Very much appreciate. Got an interview next Monday. Congratulations, Murph. There is, of course, a whole slew of news that I would really love to talk about, but we might have to do another early stream tomorrow and just try and cover all of the different topics that I've been putting off for days. Hello, Yannick the Newburg. The Rust Bard. Let's see if this this works. In the online tools. We're a bit time crunched, so it might be just kind of be what it is. I appreciate this. Yeah, feel free to post that link periodically, Banana Brains. It's pretty cool. Pretty handy. Thank you, Rust Bard. That was really quickly put together. 2 early streams in a row trying to throw you off? Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Kash Patel disappearing, like, I know people have been making the liquor cabinet joke a lot, but, like, the labor secretary just quit because apparently she was drinking too much with employees, and also her husband and son were both hitting on the same State Department employees. So she quit. And also Kash Patel has just been blackout drunk. and I have not looked enough into this story. Apparently, part of what was going on with Kash Patel is like he was so unresponsive after heavily drinking that like security had to break in his doors to like make sure he was okay. And then you've got Pete Hegseth, who honestly I'm impressed that there hasn't been more like Pete Hegseth drunk stories. That was not very Cash Money. Yeah, well, Cash Patel is fighting for his life. Okay, he's fighting for his career like every day he wakes up. He like just announced that he's going to be opening an FBI inquiry into the suppression of, the 2020 election was stolen cadre. Basically. Basically, he's going to try and weaponize the FBI in order to try and ingratiate himself with Trump to make up for the fact that he's just a drunk loser. It's he's in it for the love of the game. Yeah, but that game is hockey. And the Olympics already happened. I guess this is what you get when you hire a bunch of podcasters. Look, all I'm saying is I wouldn't hire myself to be in charge of the FBI. It's a bad idea. The link to Karishma for Senate leads to a 404. Which link in particular? Because I am trying these out. And oh, that last one does not work. YouTube is being a little turd. Let's see here. Might be able to fix it. Wow, Comcat, you mean the FBI has been evil for a long time? Wow, that's really news to me. I never would have been able to figure that one out. Thank you. Well, damn. How about I just take it out of that? Maybe 3 links is too many links for this. There we go. Cool. Joining the FBI is not a good idea. Was that sarcasm? Yes, it was incredibly heavy sarcasm. Thank you. It was about the heaviest sarcasm I could ever manage. Let's see, 2 early streams in a row. Yes. Okay. I'm excited for this. Let's see. Do I have any other announcements here towards the beginning of the show? bu- 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 yes. Transatlantic call-in show on Thursday. And also, I'm going to try to be a lot more on the ball this week. Last week was just absolutely insane with what was going on in my life. Wednesday might be a late stream, just as a heads up, just because of everything I got going on. But I'll try to make up for the lack of streams last week with some extra streams this weekend. So we will see what we can see. All right. Speaking of 420, my best friend's son was born today. Ah, congratulations, Letsia. Transatlantic, you might say? You might say, indeed. I dropped my phone on my keyboard. Now all of my chats have just random bunch of numbers in them. Well, I, for one, am excited about this interview. I know that there are going to be... we have a lot of other topics to cover. I want to talk about FISA. I want to talk about Mieja. I want to talk about a bunch of different topics. How many soundboard clips will be in this interview? 0. 0, Sake. But thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs and for supporting the stream. And before we get too deep into it, folks, remember, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share the stream around, especially, a more serious stream like the one we're doing today. Like I want the serious bits to have impact, not just the silly bits from the show. And also, do consider financially supporting the stream. I know today might be a bit more difficult or a bit lacking in that department because it might be a shorter stream. But, we'll try and make up for it later this week. But do support the parts of the show that are serious business. And click the goddamn button. Little song. Bye, Gamer G! Go, go, go! Click a button, click a button, click a button, click the goddamn button, click a button, click a button, click a button, click the goddamn button, click a button, click a button, click a button, click the goddamn button, click a button, click a button, click a button, click the goddamn button, click a button, click a button, click a button, click the goddamn button, click a button, click a button, click a button, click the goddamn button, click a button, click a button, click a button, click the goddamn button, click a button, click a button, click a button, click the goddamn button, click button, click button, click button, click button, click There we go. Oh, also, I can just tell you guys at the top of the show, remember, this is all about local organizing. This interview is directly related to locally organizing. So get involved with your local Democratic Party. You can help progressives, especially progressive outsiders, get involved into your local political sphere, whether it is mayor of your town, city council, or even elected member to Congress. You can be the difference. So do get involved. Join your local Dems, join your local DSA, get together, organize, 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 organize. And also check out ImogeneOlivia.com, gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Go check it out. It's really, really good. There's a link down in the description right now. And it's genuinely life-changing, or it has been for me. My partner designed it from the ground up for, like women like me. Like it's genuinely improved my quality of life and makes me feel beautiful and elegant and sexy. So go check that out. And Well, let's see if we can bring Karishma in. Let's do it. Do. I'm going to mute and put on the BRB screen. So BRB. Karishma Manzour, candidate for U.S. Senate. Welcome to the show. How are
Thank you
you?
so much. Great. So hopefully the audio quality is also very good.
Yes, you sound great. I think everyone can hear you. They do like to complain about audio volume, but you, I think, are in that perfect sweet spot.
Excellent. So good
And
to to connect with you, Riverboat Jack, as well as your audience. It's an honor.
yes, it's an honor to have you here as well. It's you've been a really interesting candidate to just kind of see come onto the scene, and you're really one of those candidates that comes along every not very often, right? Like you're challenging Chris Papas in the primary for this seat, and it's a pretty substantial challenge. And I wanted to start by asking, kind of like you announced your campaign with a great like 2 minute long video saying, you don't come from money, you don't come with like a famous name, but that you're proof that the American dream is still possible and worth fighting for. And I thought that was noteworthy, especially right now when I think a lot of young people are kind of very pessimistic about the idea of an American dream. Like so many of the people that I know and care for in my life, for example, they're going through their lives in their 30s, sometimes in their 40s, and they're still like, I can't afford a house. Like this idea of what I was told the American dream isn't real for me. So when you say like that you believe it's still possible, like what is your version of the American dream that you want people to have and believe in?
Thank you so much. So I'm going to try to keep it short because that's like an hour-long
Yeah.
answer. But let me try to give you just snippets of my life, what that means. So I was born in the country of Bangladesh. I lost my dad when I was about 7 years old. He was assassinated. He was a military general. I know what it is like to live under an authoritarian regime where extrajudicial killing is is done. And so my family, we were being persecuted, politically persecuted after my father's death. My mother said the only thing she wanted to do was to get out of the country, but move to the United States. She didn't name any other nation. She said, we have to find a way to move to the United States and apply for political asylum. It took her, let's see, my father was assassinated in 1981. I was the first to move to the United States in 1989. And over the course of several years, my family started to arrive. Then we applied for asylum. I was a high school student when I arrived in 1989. It's such a great country. Oh, you cannot imagine what a great country this is. And it's so difficult to see someone like Donald Trump just trampling over the Constitution, just creating this havoc everywhere, taking a wrecking ball to all the federal agencies. It's just heartbreaking because we know what it can be, the bad side of the chaos and undemocratic governance. And so for many immigrants who come from especially these very difficult countries with a lot of chaos, for us, we become some of the most patriotic Americans because we're like, we know how bad it can be and we want to protect it. So there's that part of it, the fact that I want to see a democracy. I want us to live in a democracy. I want all of your viewers, my children, to grow up in a democracy, not an authoritarian regime, not a police state. And we can still protect it at this moment as things are getting gutted. So there's that aspect of it. The other is you come to the United States, you are sometimes penniless, and yet you work hard and you study or find your own path, and you can actually go from rags to riches. So in my trajectory, I came into high school. My mother was selling everything she could to be able to send us to these schools, pay for the tuition, with the knowledge that she was basically going to be penniless in Bangladesh, but she didn't care. She was going to get us out, get us into the United States, keep us in the school system until she arrived. And then, so once my mother arrived, by then we didn't have any more money. So what happened? We became just an American family that was a working class family. We were living on minimum wage. So back then in 1994, 95, the minimum wage was $4.25 an hour. So I was working 3 jobs, 4 jobs, 7 days a week. There was no such thing as weekday or weekend. You're working. Mm-hmm. We didn't have cars, so I was using public transportation, and public transportation really is bad in so many cities. And who gets impacted? The poorest, the most vulnerable. We ended up buying a car, then we had to share one car with 5 people, always coordinating who's going to drop off, who's going to keep the car, et cetera, et cetera. So that lifestyle, I also understand it. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, 5 people. Then we moved to a 2-bedroom apartment, 5 people. Then we moved to a townhouse. So slowly, as we were continuing our education or trying to get a little bit higher paying job, we kept improving, had more money to spend on housing. And then my mother kept saying, the only thing she knows how to help us is through education. So she said, find a way to finish your university. So I graduated high school in 1991. And I started university in 1991. I would have graduated in 95, but instead of taking 4 years, it took me 7 years. I graduated in 98 because there was like this period where I had no more, we didn't have money to pay for tuition, so I was out. Yet all through that, through coming to this country, working through the immigration system, working at the minimum wage, being out of school, trying to find jobs that would pay our bills, we went from rags to riches. I mean, not very rich, but I mean, I was able to finish my bachelor's degree. There's a story how I was able to finish it because it was, of course, we still didn't have money. Then I went to get my PhD, and after that, I went to do my postdoc, and then I had a job, and then, of course, my career kept getting, as I gained more experience, I kept getting higher salaries, and then I could buy a house, and we could buy 2 cars, and then, I mean, that to me is the American dream. And now I look around in the last few years, it's just like, I don't know, 10, 20 years, things are just getting crazy. Mm-hmm. If I was to be a minimum wage person right now as an immigrant, or even not even as an immigrant, as an American-born citizen, it is $7.25 an hour. and it hasn't gone up since 2009. So I sometimes think about this because biggest thing that I'm trying to help people with is everyone deserves a livable wage. If you are working a full-time job, your wage should be able to buy food, pay for housing, and you should be able to have access to quality healthcare. This is the minimum we can expect to give our citizens in the richest country in the world. But I sometimes sit there and say, okay, my minimum wage was $4.25 an hour. My rent was $500. Rent, the minimum wage right now is $7.25. Rent is $1,500, $2,000. It's impossible.
Mhm.
It's impossible. And it's not because some population growth happened, and it's lack of interest from our lawmakers. The housing crisis, for example, is because of private equity
Yeah.
purchasing all these homes. So it's a manufactured problem. It can be demanufactured.
Well,
So
and
yeah, go ahead.
one of the interesting things about it to me has been, you look at charts about, US productivity, and it's just continued to go up and up and up, but the wages have absolutely flatlined. The majority of people are not reaping the benefits of this increased productivity. And you have to, even if you are someone who's not big on understanding graphs, you look at something like that and you understand, well, that extra productivity is making somebody really, really wealthy. And then you start hearing about all of these billionaires who are becoming, all fighting together to try and become the world's first trillionaire. And it's pretty easy to click that piece into place. Um, so I'm right there with you. And I wanted to ask, because your background is actually in biochemistry and like molecular biology. And I wanted to ask two questions. One, what first got you interested in politics from, an unconventional background that someone might not be like, well, biochemistry and molecular biology to politics, that seems like a big leap. But also, what is your take on like RFK Jr. and the war on science, as it's sometimes called, the mass defunding of all of these really promising technologies like mRNA vaccines? There was just a story recently about mRNA vaccines and cancer treatment breakthroughs, but the current administration seems to be doing a lot of damage in a way that doesn't seem like we're going to be able to recover quickly from. And I was just wondering your thoughts on that, and potentially ideas on how we recover after this.
So I could also use an hour to answer that one.
Yes.
So I'll just start with the first part of your question. The whole reason I went into science is to improve people's lives. So I was working on several disease processes which are debilitating. When I talk about depression, major depression, these are folks who have not been able to respond to 4 or 5 courses of treatment. So now they are in severe depression, and sometimes they are suicidal. So we are talking about, a really um, terrible situation where patients are in. I was also working on epilepsy. So the reason I loved my job, I absolutely love my job. It could be an 8-hour day, a 12-hour day, it didn't matter. Because I kept thinking I'm improving people's lives. I'm doing a little part in trying to improve people's lives. And it was just so gratifying. Several years ago, I started to become more involved in the nonprofit sector here in New Hampshire. So I serve on the board of Open Democracy Action. That's an organization, we are trying to get big money out of politics. So when I talk about big money out of politics as a candidate, it's because I've been trying to get big money out of politics in the nonprofit field. I'm also on the board of New Hampshire Ranked Choice Voting, because that wonderful piece of legislation, if we could bring it to New Hampshire, it would give so much more power to the voters.
Absolutely.
I used to be on the board of an organization called New Hampshire Peace Action. That's the largest grassroots peace group in the nation. I was part of the New Hampshire chapter. So in the course of all these years in the nonprofit field, which was all volunteer work, no payment, what was I doing? I was advocating for higher minimum wage. was advocating for climate protection. I was advocating for universal health care. I was advocating for universal childcare. So let me just give you a couple of examples and explain to you my frustration with the political process. So I mentioned 7.25 is the current minimum wage, federal minimum wage, right? And it has been stuck at 7.25 since 2009. In 2021, President Biden tried to increase it from 7.25 to $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
In New Hampshire, we were very concerned that both our senators, even though they're Democrats, that they were going to vote against it because they received money from the National Restaurant Association.
Yep.
That's a lobbying.
Yep.
That's a lobbying. What is it? Sorry.
Oh, I'm just agreeing with you.
You know where the story is going.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to
We
interrupt.
could see where this. Yes, we could. We were reading those tea leaves also, and we were very concerned about what those tea leaves were showing us. Here we were, constituents, voters, Democrats, also from other walks of life here in New Hampshire, even labor unions advocating, don't let this once in a lifetime or once in a decade chance to increase minimum wage go to waste. Both of the senators, both Senator Shaheen and Senator Hassan, voted against it. They don't care about our voices. They don't care about the people. First of all, I don't think I have to, people like nonprofit leaders or the members of the state or labor unions have to tell you what to do that's right for the people. You're there to serve the people. It should be just common sense that here's a chance to increase the minimum wage, and yet you don't do it. I'm talking about the senators. These are multimillionaires. Look at their wealth, at least what they report. Multimillionaires, and they didn't have the heart to change a starvation wage to a less starvation wage.
Yeah, because $15 isn't even enough right now in many places.
It's not. No. Yeah. Even 2021, this was not going to be enough. It was just going to be a little bit better because it's not just about the minimum wage. If the minimum wage goes up, wages that are at 10 or 12 will also go up. Everything will shift a little bit. But for me, this was strike one. Like, what is the purpose of supporting all these candidates and politicians and thinking they're going to be better than the alternative? The lesser of two evils sometimes turn out to be still evil, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The other part was the universal health coverage. As somebody from the healthcare field and as just a person who actually has gone years without having access to healthcare. So when I was talking about working in those minimum wage jobs, sometimes waitressing or working in Wendy's or Ponderosa, this was this buffet restaurant. I don't know if it exists anymore. All these restaurants and other food sources, we didn't have healthcare. We didn't have access to healthcare. I was in a healthy, my body, was not suffering from any debilitating disease or any kind of chronic illness, but my mother was and my sister was. They didn't have access to healthcare. And yet, so what did we do? They couldn't see their physician. So I ended up losing my mom. She was only in her 60s, but she had the body of an 80-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
I lost my sister also at a young age. So when I talk about the need for universal health coverage in the richest country in the world, I'm not just talking about the millions of Americans who are suffering. I'm also talking about from a personal experience. I've seen what happens. I'm not going to cry. Okay. So then, and yet a fantastic piece of legislation called Medicare for All is available and introduced in the House and the Senate year after year by Senator Sanders and Representative Jayapal. I came to realize that not a single one of our representatives, our federal delegation, so that's 2 senators and 2 representatives, none of them have ever co-sponsored Medicare for All, and all 4 are Democrats. Not a single Republican ever co-sponsors it, but many Democrats don't. And we just happen to get the 4 worst lot. And so for me, that was strike 2. Like, what is going on? What is going on? Who are these people? Who are they serving? What is the purpose of giving you $170,000, sending you to DC, and then you turn out to be not serving in the best interest of our state.
With the best healthcare in the world too. Like the congressional healthcare plan is top
Shameful.
notch. Yeah,
None of them should receive healthcare until everyone gets healthcare. We should take
agreed.
it away. Yeah, agree. Absolutely. Let's do that. And then the third reason, so for me, those were the strike one was the minimum wage, the unconscionable vote on the minimum wage. Second was the universal healthcare. The third reason was we're spending billions of dollars bombing children overseas instead of using that money to feed and educate our own children.
Yep.
It is morally reprehensible, fiscally irresponsible, and based on our federal laws, it's just plain illegal. For me, that was strike three. So here I am running for the US Senate because in my professional world, work through in science, I was trying to improve people's lives. In nonprofit work, I was also trying to improve people's lives. So I'm running for the US Senate to continue to work to improve people's lives.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Thank you for drawing that connective tissue for us. And I was going to ask, you mentioned Bernie Sanders introducing Medicare for all legislation year after year. What political figures do you find particularly inspiring or informative for like your own political ideology, your own positions, etc.?
Do they have to be living?
No.
Okay, good. Let's see. Teddy Roosevelt, FDR, Francis Perkins, JFK, and even before JFK, Eisenhower, and then coming Bernie and Jayapal.
And Frances Perkins was the first woman labor secretary,
Correct.
right?
She was the first cabinet secretary,
Cabinet
first female cabinet secretary, and she was also, yes, the first secretary of labor, a female secretary of labor under FDR. Yes.
And she, I'm sorry, I'm just like trying to pull
Yeah,
some.
tell me. No, I can tell you a little bit about Frances Perkins. How's
Yeah.
that? So Frances Perkins also, in a sense, you can see the trajectory of her life and understand where she came from. So she was from New York, because FDR was from New York, right? And I believe, if I'm not wrong, if my memory serves me correct, she was present at when the factory was on fire and
the Triangle Shirtwaist fire.
Yes, and they could not escape, and so they were having to jump out of the floor, and many of them just died from the fire itself, or they leaped to their death, basically. Either she was definitely in New York at the time, and I don't remember if she witnessed it or she just read about it, and she was horrified at the way we treat our workers. And so she started to bring in lots of ways to protect labor protection laws in New York. And then she was working with FDR when he was a governor of New York. And so when he became the president, she moved to DC with him and became this first female cabinet secretary, and she was the Secretary of Labor. In that short period of time, we got the 8-hour work week, 40-hour work day, 8-hour work day, 40-hour work week, unemployment insurance, Social Security, labor unions were strengthened, Wall Street was regulated, we got a progressive tax code. I mean, they did so much in the FDR's time with Frances Perkins, moving these labor protections forward. I'm a firm believer in strong labor unions. There are many reasons. One is just the dignity of workers. If somebody works a full-time job, they deserve decent wages, they deserve decent working conditions, safe working conditions. They deserve to know that they'll have dignity in their retirement. This is just a normal societal contract that we should have with our workers. We should not abuse them. We should not fire them. So the other reason why the strength of the unions are so important at the moment is because of the oligarchy. Mm-hmm. So as the labor unions started to get weakened, the billionaire class started to get strengthened. And that wealth transfer that happened from the bottom, the workers, the American families, and the working families to the top is because of the weakening of the labor unions and, of course, tax codes being changed from progressive tax code to progressive tax code. So I would love for us to treat workers the way Francis Perkins and FDR wanted them to be treated. Because what was the end result? That in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, we saw the middle class booming. We saw people who could have a factory job, afford a house, cars, send their kids to public school, public colleges. It was affordable. It was high quality. Why can't we have that again? That's that American dream. We can absolutely have it. It's just because there's no end to corporate greed and there's no end to political corruption.
Here,
That's the problem.
I 100% agreed. I want to ask a few questions about your campaign and some of the challenges that I know your campaign is facing at the moment. With regard to your opponent, Chris Pappas, it would seem one of the initial hurdles is kind of related to that kind of first question I asked you about. You're coming into this without a huge war chest of campaign donations. You're coming into this without a famous name. Chris Pappas has been known in New Hampshire for the last several years in Congress as a representative, and before that was on the executive council. And how are you planning to kind of overcome that name recognition barrier? Because we know it's really crucial when it comes to elections, just name recognition in general.
Yeah. So the biggest challenges of a grassroots campaign, like you said, is name recognition and fundraising. Absolutely. Right now, you're helping me. This interview alone is helping me with name recognition. Every one of these interactions, every one of the influencers and the journalists are giving me a chance to get my name out. I'm going across the state. I go to town halls where maybe sometimes 20 people show up, sometimes 50 people show up. I have virtual events. I'm going to festivals and farmers markets, and Earth Day's coming up, or has been, the celebration started already last weekend. We're going to a lot of these events. We are having conversations with folks, regardless of whether they're Democrats or Republicans or independents, it doesn't matter, rich or old, rich, poor, it doesn't matter. Every single person we're having a conversation with. That is going to be our path to victory. That is going to be how we are going to get the name out and win this election. We have so much support from the grassroots movement. Yes, Chris Pappas and I are both Democrats, and we're both running in the Democratic primary. But both of us actually are prime examples of the existential threat that the Democratic Party is facing. So I'm an FDR Democrat. I am from the base. I represent the base. As the MAGA Republicans or the Republican Party has gone MAGA over the last 50 years, leadership of the Democratic Party has chased the Republicans to the right. That's why there's such a huge difference between the leadership of the party, like Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, Jeanne Shaheen, Maggie Hassan, Chris Pappas, and the base. The base does not recognize these leadership and say that they represent them. But the leadership keeps winning some elections by telling us, well, we're the lesser of two evils. That's a terrible way to win an election. You're giving us two bad choices and asking us to pick between evil and lesser than evil. I mean, what is this? And of course, the Republicans are saying the same. You may not like us, but look, the other side is really evil. By doing this, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, or I should say the establishment of the two parties, are controlling their bases. They're asking us to hate each other, fear each other. But many of these Republican politicians and Democratic politicians are actually answering to the same donor. So Chris Pappas's main donor is AIPAC, American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC.
Yep.
Donald Trump's, one of his biggest donors is AIPAC. So when Chris Pappas talks about, oh, I'm going to go and fight authoritarianism, dude, first of all, 7.5 years in Congress, you haven't fought anything. Please. You are taking money from the same donors that benefit from Donald Trump's authoritarianism. What exactly what propaganda are you selling us? So as I'm going across my state, I'm trying to explain the difference between a progressive Democrat and a corporate Democrat. So those are the terms I'm using. Some people might call a corporate Democrat a liberal, a neoliberal, moderate, centrist, whatever you want to call them. I just call them corporate Democrats. And the base, I call them progressive Democrats. We are losing so many people from the base. They're just disgusted. They've decided they don't care about the lesser of two evils. They want their own party. So we see a lot of the base have either checked out and don't even come to vote, or they've joined DSA, PSL, these other third parties, Green Party, because they don't care about what the Democratic leadership is offering. And this is why the Democrats may think they have such a great message, but they don't win elections or very big elections because the base is not showing up for them. So Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders went up against each other in 2016. I really wish DNC had not stepped in, had allowed the primary process to be fair, because there's a very good chance Bernie would have won that primary election.
Yep.
And the Democrats would have voted for him, and the base would have come out, the progressives would have come out for him, the independents would have come out for him, because Bernie had already won the New Hampshire presidential primary. And when he won the primary in New Hampshire, so many people came out for him, Republicans, independents, and Democrats. But the establishment Democrats are more afraid of the progressive base and the progressive Democrats than they are of the Republicans, because they know that the progressives will basically overhaul the broken healthcare system, take away all these private health insurance companies, and provide universal health coverage through a program like Medicare for All.
Yeah, they're threats to the lobbyists who hang on to Washington,
Yes,
D.C.
yes, and this is so important for us to explain to people that not all Democrats are the same. It's not all the same. So, for example, from the reason I'm running is because as I'm explaining to people, it's not enough to vote for any Democrat. We have to vote for the right Democrat. So I am the face of my campaign, but behind me are several hundred people who are coming from the peace world, peace activists, nonprofit leaders, environmentalists, high school students, college students, folks who are just so upset with knowing that the housing crisis, the childcare crisis, the healthcare crisis are all manufactured crises, because the current set of lawmakers, many of them are Democrats, most of them are Republicans, have not answered to the people. They're answering to their donors, and that is why the problems keep getting worse year after year. So I'm not taking any of that lobbying money.
I
We're trying
was
to
I
true
was go-
grass.
I was gonna ask, have you has like APAC tried to approach you? I have heard stories from other,
No,
races where APAC kind of tries to play both sides, and I was wondering if they had put out any feelers
no,
towards your campaign.
no,
No.
no. If you look at my writings, starting from 2024, I've been trashing Netanyahu and his. He needs to go to The Hague, big
Yep.
time. Or at least he should not be able to leave Israel without fearing an arrest. And so I don't think they would ever come.
That makes sense. They've also given your opponent like $2.7 million.
They have their boy. Yes, they have
Yeah.
their puppet. They know who they can control. And sometimes APAC honestly doesn't care to a certain extent whether it's going to be a Republican or a Democrat that wins, because as long as whoever wins gives votes to send unconditional weapons transfers to Israel, they don't care. We might be like, oh my God, a Republican, oh my God, a Democrat. But many of the donors don't care as long as their bought politician votes the way the donors want.
Absolutely. I was going to ask a question about your campaign's financial disclosure form. I know that there was a
Like,
deadline that was missed, and there's like a $200 fine associated with it. But I just wanted to ask what exactly happened there.
honestly, I missed the deadline. So I just missed the deadline. And then my husband spent last weekend, no, the weekend before, saying, okay, that's it, I'm going to do it. And so he spent the whole weekend looking through the 60-page uh, um, rules about what to do, and we've submitted it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's available now.
Oh, excellent.
There's not much there. We have a very simple lifestyle. Most of our money is just our retirement fund, and that's it. But
Well,
it is a little, I'm embarrassed that I missed the deadline.
oh, well, it's just good to know that it's out there now,
Yeah.
especially because I was looking through the financial disclosures of like all the other folks who are running both Republican and Democrat, and I, it's like every single person running in the race comes from a lot of money.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
like
Yeah, and I think you said this earlier, because when I was thinking of running, because I was talking to people here in New Hampshire, because I'm also involved with the Democratic Party. Um, I was talking to several people, and one person said, who's an elected official at the state level, said, Krishma, are you a millionaire? I said, no. He said, do you have a millionaire donor supporting you? I said, no. Why are you thinking about running? And I said, that is exactly why I'm running. Think about it. You're basically saying 95% of Americans should never consider running for federal office because they are not independently wealthy, or some billionaire has not put them under his or her wing. That is so wrong. Like, don't tell me what that I'm not fitting the problem. The system is the problem. We have to overhaul it. So yes, they're all multimillionaires.
yeah,
We have a house, we have a mortgage, we have two cars. One is paid off, the other one is not paid off yet. We have college tuition to pay, and yeah.
Yeah, I was looking through those and I was just like, man, it really sometimes when you look at those, you get the feeling that we are living under aristocracy with extra steps. And like I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that one bit. So it's thank you very much for filing. I think a lot of people will appreciate being able to see that
My son got a kick out of it. He's like, "Wow, really? Did you have to?" I was like, "Oh." So we also, for example, so this is like a grassroots campaign. This is what happens. I don't have a Wikipedia page because I needed a volunteer to help me put a Wikipedia page together because I've never done it. So, like, how do you even start? So Wikipedia kept writing to me, "Hey, you don't have a Wikipedia page." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't know what to do about that. Like, where do you even start?" So then somebody said, "You know what? Let me see how Wikipedia page is done." So I'm like waiting for this person to do it. Somebody says, "You're not on Ballotpedia." Well, literally, I'm running from town to town on a daily basis, trying to meet with voters. That's where my work should be, right? That's where my hours should be spent. Or connecting with volunteers and trying to figure out how they where should we go? Like, which Earth Day event should we go to? Should we have our own Earth Day? These are the conversations we have. So then of course, I need a volunteer to actually volunteer to say, I can help you with the Ballotpedia page. Like, yes. So the person who said they'll look into this Wikipedia page, how it's done, she promised that after she's done with that, she's going to look at the Ballotpedia. And then after that, citizens count. So literally, my friends, this is like a grassroots home. This is like literally just a bunch of people who are tired of the establishment working together to basically reclaim our power, because this is exactly how it should be. We've gotten so used to these DC consultants flying in with all their fancy databases and softwares and algorithms and fancy titles and experience in politics, and then coming in and putting a cookie cutter page together and website, and like, and then everything's up and running. Like, my hair was literally falling out in July and August because the stress of trying to start a campaign was so immense. The number of sleepless nights, the conversations, it was so difficult. And I'm thinking some of these people, they say to me, they talk like Kamala Harris. Oh, I'm thinking about it. I don't know if I'm running. Like, what does that mean? You either running, you're not running. What do you mean you're thinking about it? That means you're what? Your donors? Are you waiting for your donors to step in and say, I'll give you $100 million if you run? Like, what exactly does that mean? And here at New Hampshire, some of these folks, like the governor's race, it was ridiculous. People were like, I'm thinking of running. Don't tell me you're thinking of running. Either you're running or you're not running. Like, I don't know what that means. I'm thinking of running. You might tell your family you're thinking of running, but you don't tell the public or do a fancy newspaper article about how you're thinking of running. Like, I don't know what that means. That most probably is a signal to donors.
Yep.
Can you step up? Yeah. It is gross. It is so disgusting. The money is so disgusting. None of these folks, these establishment Democrats or the establishment Republicans, are answering to the donors. They are not interested. They might be in some policy differences, a little bit better here, a little bit better there. But really, the planet is on fire.
Yep.
People are being bombed on a daily basis. Children in New Hampshire are going to school hungry. These little cookie cutter Band-Aid stuff is not working anymore. We need people who are going to be like bold and grassroots and people powered and not answering to the donors. So I'm definitely a very unusual candidate. Like my son says, you don't know anything about the way politics works. So you're just doing it the way you think people should do it. And exactly, like this is exactly how it should be. It should be based on folks and conversations and $20 from someone on Social Security and $5 from a college student. It should not be millions of dollars pouring in from California and Florida and Texas. You should look up where the money's coming from for Sununu and Pappas. Most of it is coming from California, Florida, and Texas.
Oh yeah, and a massive amount of out-of-state spending on these races. It's the kind of thing where once you start looking into it, you really start thinking like this should be criminal. And
it should be criminal, exactly. Yeah. It should be actually almost treason, actually.
Yeah.
Think about it. Because when they are approving, for example, what Donald Trump just did, right? So he is supposed to uphold the Constitution. He's supposed to serve the American public. He just took us into a war, not because of national security or national interest, because of the whims of a foreign genocidal government. That's treason. 13 service members died. Over 300 service members are injured. That is treason. That's not just war crimes, that's treason. He should be hauled in front of a war crimes tribunal. Mm-hmm. Any other Democrats or Republicans that are supporting him and his war crimes, we should hold them responsible for it.
And he's still threatening war crimes. He just today he was threatening war crimes against like civilians in Iran. I agreed.
And then the Democrats, sometimes these establishment Democrats are corporate Democrats, because I really need us to differentiate, because I cannot be considered to be in the same party as some of these people, but I am in the same party. So, okay, so I have to have used different terms. The corporate Democrats will tell you, oh yeah, so they're a little upset about the war in Iran, but not really, because they're upset that Donald Trump should have asked them for permission. No, these are all AIPAC funded corporate Democrats. They wanted this war.
Yep.
This is Netanyahu's war. This is not America's war. This is Netanyahu's war that he's been asking for and hoping for 40 years. This is a war that AIPAC wants. So all these Democrats, they might have voted for the War Powers Resolution, but they delayed the vote on the War Powers Resolution. Hakeem Jeffries delayed the vote.
Yep. They've been trying to torpedo these war powers votes, as far as I can tell. Like, as an outside observer, I'm not, party to any of the insider conversations, but like, I know Chuck Schumer has in particular been, he's been in favor of a war with Iran for a long time. He's very hawkish as regards Iran in particular. And I think that's pretty clear from the anemic response we're seeing from a lot of Democrats in leadership, sadly.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
I did want to ask.
A bad name. They're giving our party a bad name. Right now, Donald Trump is so unpopular, and the Democratic Party is sometimes less popular than Donald Trump, about the same level? Donald Trump is a pedophile, a war criminal, a thief. How can we be less popular than Donald Trump? There's something really wrong with that.
And
Terrible.
a lot of it, I think you are correct in drawing a line between that unpopularity and money that props it up.
Mhm.
And so I was wondering if you were aware of kind of this initiative called the Montana Plan. It's
Yeah,
a suite of legislation for those
yeah.
watching in Montana to try
Mhm,
and use the power of individual states to block at
mhm.
least some amount of this corporate money that is being spent from out of state.
Mhm.
And um, I was looking at the Transparent Election Initiative, and yeah, it seems New Hampshire is still kind of exploring that. But I was wondering if elected, would that be something you would work together with? I know New Hampshire Representative Suraj Butothoki is one of your early endorsers. Um, I was wondering if you'd be willing to work with state level reps to try and introduce that legislation in New
Yes,
Hampshire.
yes. So there are a few parts to your question. So let me just tell you, first of all, great job, Montana. You guys are doing great. Good luck. But also Hawaii is also doing it, and several
Mhm.
other states are also trying to overturn Citizens United, or at least try to put a check on the corporation spending at their state level. Fantastic idea. Power to them. As U.S. Senator, my top three priorities, one of them will be to overturn Citizens United. And in order to overturn Citizens United, we need 66 votes. So I'm going to, it's, so what we're hoping for is that across the country, there are about 130 or so candidates running for federal office, and we've all signed on on taking a pledge. So we are called Courage Candidates. We are all promising that one of the very first things we're going to do is overturn Citizens United, because that has to be done. So I'm hoping that I make it to the Senate, but additional progressives and honest folks also make it to the Senate in this election cycle. And then one of my first tasks will be to strengthen the progressive bloc in the Senate, reach out to Democrats as well as Republicans, and try to find 66 votes to overturn Citizens United. Because interestingly, it is extremely popular policy or with the base across the country, regardless
Mhm.
of your ideology. Most Americans want big money out of politics. Most Americans want Citizens United overturned. The lawmakers are not listening to the people. Neither the Republicans nor the establishment Democrats are listening to the people. So yes, at the state level, I have not, if anyone initiates it, I don't know did Suraj initiate something? No,
I don't believe so. It was
no,
still
I
like
don't
an
think so.
exploratory phase, I think.
So what we did do is within the Democratic Party, we have the convention coming up in May.
Mhm.
So I am the lead sponsor on two resolutions, and Suraj is actually my co-sponsor on both of those resolutions, along with 20 other people. The two resolutions is one is to get big money out of the New Hampshire Democratic Party primary elections. The other is to get APAC out of New Hampshire Democratic Party's
Mm.
primary election. So those two resolutions, I submitted it on Wednesday. It's now in the hands of the resolution committee, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that they don't play any politics and it passes through the resolution committee and it goes to the convention in May 16 and gets voted on by the state committee.
That sounds excellent.
Yeah,
Um
so I'm trying already. This is the thing. A lot of lawmakers might say, "Oh, you know what? The wind is blowing this way. Let me just make some hollow say something that the voters will
yeah.
like." But of course, my record does not show that that's the way I'm going to vote, and or if they are already incumbents, their record doesn't show that they have actually voted or enacted those measures. I'm coming from the nonprofit sector. I'm coming from the organization, as I said, Open Democracy Action. And we've been trying to get big money out of politics for decades. I've only been involved with several years, but this is an organization that's been around for about decades, because Granny Haddock is a very famous person who, at age 89, walked from California to DC to tell us that big money in politics is the greatest threat to our democracy. And that was even before Citizens United passed.
Mhm.
So this is the organization that I'm on the board of. So I'm going to do everything that I can, whether as a regular public citizen, a regular person, working in the grassroots level, trying to advocate to get big money out of politics, whether now as a candidate, talking about getting big money out of politics, also as a New Hampshire Democrat, trying to use the party's process, through the resolution process, trying to get big money out of politics. And then, of course, when I get to the Senate, I'll do the same. That shows track record. That shows consistency and moral standards. Like, for example, my opponent, Chris Pappas, talks about how he wants to overturn Citizens United. But what has he done to overturn Citizens United? Like, is he waiting for someone to introduce the legislation and then
He's already in Congress. Like, he's had the opportunity.
Yeah, like, dude, like, you've been there 7.5 years. If you haven't done it, why should we send you back? Like, why? Or or what does he talk about? He talks about, oh, yeah, money in politics is really bad. You take $2.7 million from an organization that should be registered under FARA, Foreign Agents Registration Act, and their primary purpose is to take US taxpayer money and spend it on bombs for a foreign country. And you're talking about what? Bringing honesty and leadership? 7.5 years of corruption? Tell me how annoying this is. So as a private citizen, I was just listening and going, are we out of our minds? It just felt like a movie. Like, you hear bullshit, you see bullshit, and you're like supposed to still believe that that's somehow still a system that's working. You're like, no, it's not.
I mean, it's like the don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. Like
Yeah.
that. Can
I use that?
Yep, go for it. But like you're bringing up Chris Pappas, and one of the things that I found really notable is, like, you've had several different, like, meet and greets, town hall type events just this past week, and he is vocally anti-money in politics, but he hasn't had an event with constituents in over a year. And I just I found that remarkable, because the only way you can get away with that as a politician is if you have a huge amount of donations coming in, and I don't know that those donations are coming in from his constituents when we start meeting with them.
It's just like, it almost feels like a fiction that we're living in, or dystopia, or like, this you cannot make this up, right? How ridiculous this is. His last town hall was March 22nd, 2025. There were two town halls on the same day. I went to the one in Stratham, which is the next town over. This is an auditorium, middle school auditorium. There must have been at least 1,500 people could sit there. I think it was a huge auditorium. It was full. People were standing in the aisles, and many people were turned away, because this is March. People are mad. People are angry with Donald Trump and his wrecking ball, destroying all these federal agencies. Doge, remember Doge is in the news at the time. Elon Musk is all day long in the White House. What are the Democrats doing? Our senators, both our senators, actually confirmed many of the nominees that Donald Trump is putting through, including Kristi Noem and a few others. Oh, and Marco Rubio. And so anyway, so we're like, what's going on? Who are you? And then Chris Pappas comes out, and he wants to run for the Senate, and he does these town halls. People were so angry with him. What is your job? Why are you there if you're not standing up for people? And so people were mad for various reasons. People were mad also with the fact that he does take AIPAC money, that he has approved billions of dollars of weapons transfers to Israel, that he has not stood up for the LGBTQ community. Because back in 2024, and you might already know this, stop me if you already know this.
No, go for it.
Okay. The NDAA bill that came out, which comes out every year, that's the National Defense Authorization Act. Mike Johnson puts in a clause that dependents of service members, if they need any kind of trans health care, it will not be paid. Chris Pappas does not question it, and he approves it. There were members of the trans community and the LGBTQ community or community supporters, human rights supporters, because it's just a human rights issue. They were so mad at him. And then every time they would ask a question, he was just basically doing almost like a filibuster, like 5-10 minute long answers. Like he wanted that hour to basically not have to answer constituents' questions. People were lined up, and a lot of people were shouting out, like, answer the question. Like people were angry. And then apparently, then the hour or two later, he went to another one in Laconia. I heard it was even worse. That was the last day he had a public town hall, March 22nd, 2025. You see him going to a lot of photo ops. These are like going to Dem groups, very controlled. Everyone's supposed to be on their good behavior. And a lot of times they come in because they're always in a rush, even though they might be sitting in a parking lot, but they will not tell us that they're sitting in a parking lot. It'll be like, oh, 8:05 to 8:25. That's all we have. They'll come in, shake some hands, give a little speech. Oh, yeah, we have to go. No time for questions, and rush out. But lots of pictures are being taken, of this little interaction. And then Facebook posts are being made. Oh, look, he was at this event and that event. He went to this small business or that small business. You're trying to represent the people of New Hampshire, and you cannot even meet with the people of New Hampshire. That's something really wrong. That's just, again, I don't even know how. You gave me a really nice way to explain my thoughts. Tell me another one where it's like, what are we doing? Are these supposed to be public service positions where you're supposed to serve the public? And you're afraid of the public? Like,
I mean, it seems like it's become inverted, where instead it's the public's role to serve him in this case.
yeah. And I think, yes. And there's a really, I'll let you ask the next question, but I hope you will ask me about the arrests. I don't know if you saw that he had people arrested in his office.
I saw that he had people arrested in his office. I was gonna ask that as a follow-up, actually. Like he is so anti-interacting with constituents that he has actually had people arrested for trying to meet with him.
Let me then take a deep breath because tell me. Okay, that makes no sense. So these 5 constituents, they are not only voters in New Hampshire, part of the Democratic establishment. I think some of them, I don't know if they're necessarily Democrats, but okay, they are members of our community, but they're also community leaders. All of them had their own constituents that were coming to them and were horrified by what was going on in Gaza. This was late 2023, early 2024, and they're hearing their constituents talking about, let's stop the death and destruction. My God, how many people are we going to kill? So then they wanted a meeting with their leader, so Chris Pappas. I don't even want to use the word leader anymore, elected official, because that's not leadership. You're just taking up a spot. Okay. They went 12 times, these 5 folks went 12 times to Chris Pappas's office from January of 2024 to May of 2024. Every other week they would show up because in between they were also going to Hassan's office and Shaheen's office. They had a set of demands. One, stop approving weapons transfers to Israel while they're violating human rights. Second, allow humanitarian aid to enter Gaza. And the third and the fourth, there were several. These are the 2 that I remember. I should refresh my memory because this is about over a year old. So they wanted to have a meeting with their representative or a phone call with their representative, explain to him all their demands. They went 12 times. And they were basically not given a meeting or a phone call. And the 12th time, they decided to do a peace sit-in. That's a form of civil disobedience, something that Rosa Parks did by not getting up from the bus seat. Others have done during the civil rights movement by, say, not getting up from those breakfast counters, the lunch counters. It's just a form of saying, this is not right. I'm going to just wait here. Nonviolent civil disobedience. They went in, they sat in the waiting room for several hours. They were not given us any meeting at 5 o'clock. They were told to leave, otherwise the police would come in, and the police came in and had them arrested. Of the 5 people, 2 of them were 80-year-old women. One was in a wheelchair.
Oh my gosh.
That's Janet Zeller, Janet Simon, and they're both leaders of 2 different nonprofits here in New Hampshire. One was a pastor, David Grisha Jones, who's the pastor of the Community Church of Durham. The 4th person was Amy Antonucci, who's the a director for Peace Action, as well as a goat farmer, tiny lady, but like a powerhouse here in New Hampshire. She's so well respected, a brilliant woman, but the heart of gold, like the nicest person you can possibly meet. And the 5th person was M. Friedrichs, who was a town councilor from the town of Durham. So these are like top-notch leaders. And M was 6 months pregnant at the time.
Oh my gosh.
All of them, yes. All of them were arrested. I went to their arraignment. I want to say it was by then, because we called them Mother's Day 5 because it was Mother's Day, was that Sunday before their arrest. I went to their arraignment, and then we were getting ready for their trial date, which was several months later. And we were raising money because we didn't know what the court fees would be. So they already had received, they could not go anywhere near the office of Chris Pappas. They were banned from going anywhere near his office by the judge during the arraignment.
Because they were so dangerous.
Yeah. And then we were raising money. So then finally they had their court date. They had fees and we helped support it. These are not rich people. All of 2024, he never contacts them.
Mm-hmm.
His office never contacts them. All of 2025, now, he's running for Senate, doesn't contact them at all. I launched my campaign August of 2025. September of 2025, he contacts them and asks them for a meeting in his office.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, of the 5, I think only 1 ended up going to meet with him. And I asked David Grisha Jones, so did he meet the requests that you had? And he said, no, this was again, lip service. Nothing came out of this meeting. However, he made contact with them. And now when people on the campaign trail, because by the way, if you've watched my video, I do mention it a little bit, the launch video.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch it, I'm very subtle about it. And I say, you'll see there's 5 people sitting in a waiting room. And I said, I don't remember what my voiceover said. Like I will answer to the people or something like that. And that's when you see those 5 people. Now that I'm talking about these arrests, and because now I have a bigger platform, so more people are hearing. I was talking about it in 2024, but I didn't have much of a platform. People if they do end up seeing him fundraising dinners or very controlled events, they ask Chris Pappas, so why did you get 5 people arrested? And his answer is no. Oh, I've met with them. We're all set now. You met with them 1.5 years later. You had them arrested. You never met with them. 1.5 years later, you're leaving out a very important point. And they had the demands from you, and you never met those demands. So he's almost like saying, "Oh no, where it's all the way. It's an old story.
Gosh.
There's nothing there."
Well, and
it's so difficult.
It's really difficult because he won't meet with his constituents, but he does have time to meet with AIPAC. Earlier of March this year, AIPAC posted a video of Chris Pappas talking about how important AIPAC is and in the importance of bipartisan U.S.-Israel relations. And it's we're at a point now where we are well aware that not only has Israel done a genocide in Gaza, but also, the New York Times is now reporting, they're doing a ethnic cleansing across southern Lebanon, particularly. I'm sorry. Right before I went live with you today, I saw a story comparing satellite images of different villages in Lebanon before and
Oh,
after, and it breaks my heart, and
it's
just the
horrifying.
systemic destruction of these places. Um,
On using our money,
yes,
using
use
our money, while our kids don't have high quality education, while our senior citizens are drowning in property taxes, while our young folks can't afford housing, while we don't have a universal health coverage. Apparently, we always have money for war.
hmm and Chris Pappas to me is like an embodiment of
Yeah.
both APAC spending, but also like centrist democratic think tanks like Third Way, which has been in the news recently with their statements about Abdul Sayed in Michigan. Um,
Mhm.
and it is deeply frustrating to see how much how much of a hold corporate money has on so many of our elections all across the country. Um, but I
We need a movement. We need a huge movement. More and
absolutely.
more people are waking up. And as I'm going around New Hampshire, I'm talking to Republicans. I don't care if it's a Republican, Independent, Democrats. We're not the enemies to each other. It's the billionaires that are controlling us,
Hmm.
telling us to hate each other, hate our neighbors, worry about this and that, which is like made up stories. So when I talk to the Republicans and I say, for example, in New Hampshire politics, 50 years, two families have controlled our politics for 50 years. It's unbelievable. The Republican Party has been controlled by the Sununu family, and the Democratic Party has been controlled by the Shaheen family. And they treated like family heirlooms, like they decide who will get what positions, who will receive the donor support. Jean Shaheen is stepping down, right?
Yep.
Not stepping down, sorry. She's not seeking reelection. So this open seat is an open seat. You don't get to choose who that seat is going to be filled by. The people of New Hampshire gets to decide. 1.4 million people get to decide who is going to go into that US Senate seat. That's not yours. We elected you. Thank you for your service. You're retiring. Goodbye. And yet she uses every opportunity to say that the next US senator is going to be Chris Pappas. At conventions, in front of delegates, like, then don't have a primary election. If you don't honor and respect the primary process where voters of the Democratic Party will decide who their nominee is going to be and who is going to go to the general election, then don't have a primary process. Why are you being so undemocratic in these comments? In front of 400 delegates,
Hmm.
telling everyone that the next US senator is going to be Chris Pappas. And then, of course, Chris Pappas' seat is going to be taken over by Jean Shaheen's daughter. Is this a family heirloom? First of all, it's gross to be in the same business as, if your family member is in politics, stay out of politics. That is really one place you do not want to be. Uh, you should not turn it into a family business.
Absolutely.
Politics should be about public service. You know, yes. Don't go in. Your mother's there. Stay out of it. Maybe 5-year cooling period, and then try it. Then come in. Come on in. So Jean Shaheen has decided the U.S. Senate seat is going to go to her chosen candidate, and his seat is going to go to her chosen candidate. And we are supposed to be the party that's fighting authoritarianism and trying to save democracy.
You can't replace that with
Yeah,
nepotism. Like, it doesn't work that
you
way.
it doesn't work that way. So, anyways, yeah, and New Hampshire is really interesting right now. You guys should really come down or come up. I don't know. Where are you actually? I don't even think you're in.
I'm based out of Minneapolis.
Okay, so come across.
Yes. But you did
Oh,
touch on something there about the meeting with Republicans and meeting Republicans where they're at,
yeah, sorry.
especially in kind of the online spaces that like I operate in. There's a lot of pessimism regarding uh, how to move forward in a country where we have like this increased polarization. You have folks who are diehard MAGA. You have just an erupting fury from the entire liberal to left coalition. about Donald Trump, with no kings and whatnot. And I was just wondering, how do you see a path forward to reconciliation, de-radicalization, etc., as like we move forward, and like what can we do to facilitate kind of coalition building? Because you mentioned,
Yeah.
pointing out to folks that the conflict is not to the left or to the right of us; it's above us.
Yeah.
The people pushing us down, the billionaires and
Mhm.
100 millionaires.
So I am sharing that message, but already the base is already starting to understand it. So I'm not fighting an uphill battle. There are
Mhm.
some folks who don't want to hear it, and that's out. But like the other day, I was out for a walk with my husband, and so he sometimes has business cards in his pocket, in his wallet. So I said, I was, there was a person who was working on his car, and I said, "Oh, do you have a card?" And I stopped by and I said, "May I introduce myself?" And then he wanted to know which party, et cetera. And we were talking, and he goes, "I'm most probably I'm a Republican turned independent. I might not be your voter." And I said, "No, you are my voter because it's not about the party anymore. Do you believe that we deserve access to high quality healthcare and that we deserve universal healthcare in this country?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Do you believe we should stop spending billions of dollars of weapons for genocide and instead use it to feed and educate our own children?" He goes, "Yeah, we're aligned." And he goes, "Okay, I think I'll vote for you." It's really not rocket science. We have so much in common with each other. What are we asking for? Peace and prosperity for ourselves, peace and prosperity for the rest of the world. There are some extremists in both parties, but most of us, we just want to get up, have food in our fridge, have a nice breakfast, go to work, go to school, and then come home, have a weekend or time off and enjoy time with our family and friends. We're not really asking for much. And if first, God forbid, if we need some sort of a medical emergency or we need access to healthcare, we receive it. Everyone wants it. Republicans want that. Democrats want that. Independents want that. We don't want wars. We don't want people to be poor on our streets here in New Hampshire or across the country. We don't want people to not have access to mental health care. We don't want people not to have access to cancer treatments. We want people to live a prosperous life. And this is not that difficult in the richest country in the world. It's not a scarcity of resources. Actually a issue of priorities. And that's what we have to work on.
I love that answer. All right, I'm going to list just a handful of different policies, and I just love to hear whether you support or oppose them, just thoughts on them, just in general. Just
What is it? One word answers, or it can be sentences?
can be sentences, but let's try and keep it like relatively
Sure.
short.
Okay.
Uh, Medicare for all.
Yes. Support.
Uh, Postal banking.
Yes. Yes, God. That's another way where they're taking our money. Yes. I will tell you from my personal experience. I had problems with banking because when you're making minimum wage and you need to have a bank account because that's the only way to cash your checks, my God. And then you write a check hoping, my God, please don't let that money hit that bank until my paycheck gets there. And then you go into overdraft. It's terrible. The whole concept of overdraft and charging people for not having enough money, who's getting hurt? The poorest. We
Yeah.
are abusing the poorest. I love the concept of postal banking. Yes, 100% in.
Yeah, coming from the Midwest, you learn, like, I live in Minneapolis, so like there's no shortage of banks around kind of the city centers. But like when you go out into like, the truly rural areas of the country, like you might be in situations where you're driving over an hour to get to the
Yeah.
nearest bank. And I think it's a problem that I think would get a whole lot of traction.
Mhm.
I love postal banking. I
I love
really
it.
want to bring
I
it
love
back.
it. Mhm.
Worker right of first refusal. It's a proposal Bernie put out in 2019, where a private company that wants to get sold first has to be offered to its workers to buy, um, collectively. And just wondering your thoughts on
Yeah,
that.
fantastic idea. Absolutely. Fantastic idea. Give the power back to the people, the workers. Yes.
Um, a national housing first program.
I don't know
Uh,
how does that work?
Essentially, federal funding for state level housing first
Oh, yes,
initiatives.
of course. Okay. Yes,
It,
absolutely.
yeah.
We need, of course, we need to fund HUD adequately. That's the Housing and Urban
Mhm.
Development. We absolutely have to fund it and bring back affordable housing. We have to build housing units, but they have to be affordable, not $1 million homes. And in order to do that, we need federal government to step in and give incentives to developers.
Another one that might be a little bit out of left field, resurrecting the Public Works Administration.
When was that?
That was a New Deal program that built
Oh,
sewers, schools,
oh, yes,
hospitals,
yes,
dams.
yeah,
Um, it, it it was
yeah.
originally designed to employ people across the country, and then it got phased out with war production during World War II. But a
Mhm.
lot of the stuff they built is still used.
Yes, yes, in New Hampshire, that's our plumbing is actually from that period. Yes, from that public works project. So, um, in order to, for example, many of our pipes are bursting, many of them are contaminated. I think I looked up a study. It was only going to cost us maybe about $500 million to fix up a lot of these Second World War, post Second World War plumbing. So yes, we definitely have to bring back all these wonderful pieces of legislation and agencies. Yes.
And another one, and that I'm interested to hear your take on how what method you would use if you do support it. But Supreme Court reform.
So I'm not for adding to the Supreme Court. We need strong ethics rules, but we need to enforce those ethics rules and we need term limits.
Mhm. Okay.
I don't know the term limits that I think would be a great idea. It could be by age, but I think that's ageism. I would rather do it by 18-year term limit, and that's enough. Thank you
Okay.
for your service. Move on.
I can get behind that. Um, and I wanted to kind of round things out. What policies are you most excited about? Just full
Oh,
stop. Just full stop. Giving you the floor to talk
let's see.
about something you're excited about policy wise.
Medicare for all. We need that so badly. We lose about 50,000 Americans each year from lack of health insurance or underinsurance, and that is unconscionable. There are 33 developed nations in the world, and of them, 32 offer universal health coverage. Only one doesn't, and that's us. So we absolutely have to provide universal health coverage. Universal child care is also so important. Right now, there are so many families, they need to go to work, whether it's a single parent or a double parent household or other non-traditional family structures, but they can't find quality health childcare, or they can't afford it, and that's unconscionable. So we have to provide universal childcare for that's affordable, and that'll also help maybe cut down the cost of childcare to less than 7% of someone's income. We also
Absolutely.
have to start funding our research programs. You did talk a little bit about it, but we didn't end up answering. I think you had asked about RFK.
Yeah.
So I think we moved on because so much
Sorry.
going on. So many, it's okay. But since you are giving me this opportunity, so I'm a scientist. My PhD was funded by NIH. My postdoc was funded by NIH. The cuts to NIH are so short-sighted. We are basically impacting a whole generation of scientists. My daughter wanted to look at two possible career tracks. One was to law school, one was to the science program, to PhD. She's still in college, and she decided there's no way she can consider going into research because she sees all the people coming out of college, and there's not enough research opportunities out there.
Yep.
Or people who are receiving their PhD, there are not that many postdoc opportunities out there. It's unconscionable. You're destroying a whole generation of scientists. People should care about science and scientific field because that's where all the innovation happens. Whether it's a physicist or a biochemist, it doesn't, or a computer scientist, that's where we can be. We are a leader still, but we are losing ground to China and other countries because we are being short-sighted by the current administration that's funding war instead of science. So yeah, so we definitely have to provide for our people, but we also have to be farsighted and go back to being a leader in medical research and science and technology.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, what are your opinions on if getting any of these passed? If there was, um, if the filibuster proved to be a hurdle to overcome, would you be in favor of getting rid of the filibuster in order to accomplish these?
Oh my God.
I know
It's like
it's the big
it's almost
question.
like, yes, it's such a bad, yes, it's a great idea, but my God, both the ways it's a bad idea. To keep it is horrible, to get rid of it is so scary. I'm going to say at this moment, I do want to get rid of the filibuster. Yeah.
Okay. Um, all right. Well, I think I've already gone at least 20 minutes over what
Oh, thank you
I
so
told your
much.
team. But
Thank
thank
you.
you. No, thank you so much for making time. I really, really appreciate it. And I think
Can I just one
folks.
thing? Just
Okay.
because we talked about so many different heavy issues, but I wanted to say something. In the last couple of weeks, what we saw was the best of America and we saw the worst of America in the last few weeks. So Donald Trump taking us into a war against Iran, on Iran, I should say, on Iran, based on the whims of a foreign genocidal government, was the worst of America. 13 service members died, over 300 were injured. We're spending billions on a daily basis, and over 2,000 people have died in Iran alone. And of course, there have been attacks on about a dozen other countries. That is the worst of America. At the same time, we saw the best of America, the Artemis mission. What
Yes.
beauty, right? These astronauts left Earth, went, circled around the moon, and came back safely. That is the best of America. And that's exactly what we have to go back to. That's that American dream. We have to fight for it, and we have to absolutely fight against the Democratic establishment, the Republican establishment, and the big money in politics. We have to get rid of all of these measures. We have to save the country for the people. We have to save it from the oligarchy. And we have to then invest in the best of America.
Well, you got me feeling patriotic here. Closing this out.
I told you, biggest patriot. Thank
um,
you so much, my friend. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. And folks, just for those of you in the chat, if you use !Karishma, you'll get links to Canvas phone bank. And we can also get you a link to just a generalized volunteer form. But I believe folks can phone bank from anywhere in the country.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Yes, Tuesday nights we're doing phone banking from across the country. If you're able to donate $5, $500, $5,000, whatever you can donate, we'll take everything, because we have to reclaim our power. And the only way we can reclaim our power is by actually investing in candidates who are fighting for the people. So I hope people will consider donating. And at least follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and write about us. If you know of influencers or if you know of other ways for us to get our name out, please do so. It is something that we all have to fight for. We can't do this alone. All these candidates, we have given up our lives. Literally, our lives have been turned upside down. There's no more family life. There's no more cooking at home. We're on the road because our hearts were breaking. These are not vanity projects, but we can only succeed if people in our state, but across the country, support us. So please step up and help all these grassroots campaigns that are fighting for the people.
And I wish you the best of luck in the primary race. I think I speak for all of us here that we we're really impressed with what you're doing in New Hampshire, and really appreciate that you're in it for the long haul. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I again wish you the best. Bye.
Bye.
I'm back, y'all. How you doing, folks? How you doing? Hello. Hello. Wardrobe change? Nah. We were just exchanging some pleasantries before she had to go. But yes, folks, of course, get involved with that race. You can have a huge impact there in New Hampshire. New Hampshire is relatively small, guys. A small group of dedicated volunteers who like show up to phone bank every Tuesday or who can knock on doors can have a huge outsized impact. And guys, Chris Pappas, his ground game sucks. It's why he needs millions and millions and millions of dollars from APAC and other groups. Like, if you get involved, you can be the counterweight to all of that money. Like, you can actually have a huge impact here. So please, please, please go, if you can, especially if you're in New Hampshire, go volunteer for this campaign. Go volunteer to do some door knocking. Go volunteer, even if you're not in New Hampshire, go volunteer to like do some phone banking. And also, they have different needs for the campaign for just generalized volunteers. There's another form you can fill out there if you are interested in just being a generalized volunteer for the campaign. Go do it, folks.
Virginia, don't forget to vote yes tomorrow. All of the old ladies phone banking for yes have been so sweet and lovely.
Yes, you too can be an effective old lady. Look, the older folks know that they have agency in politics by participating in volunteer initiatives like this, okay? You younger folks, y'all need to get involved too, okay? Can't just keep sitting on your hands. We got to get involved because there's millions of dollars aligned against us from people who have inherited millions of dollars, and we need folks on the ground to
If you wear
counteract
a
that.
potato outfit while canvassing, you get the added bonus of a potato not voting for papas.
I Sake Tanuki, unironically, I love that idea. I think that'd be great. But I think that there is a real possibility here, and I think she's a stellar candidate who, hasn't gotten as much press exposure in like progressive media. And so I think you all should help spread the word. Help go talk about her in other channels. Go talk about her. Spread the word, folks, because you have agency in this. You are not just a bystander. I should move to New Hampshire. Do it. Move to New Hampshire and volunteer. Sell all your possessions and go volunteer. Go do the things. It's super, super important. And get involved. Get involved. I'll be cutting this interview together for the channel, and or rather my editor will be, and it will be going up relatively soon. But in the meantime, get involved. There are also meet and greets across New Hampshire. There are various in-person events that have been scheduled by Karishma Manzour's campaign, and if you want to go meet her, talk about issues, you can do that. Unlike with Chris Pappas, who is a guy who apparently will get you arrested even if you are 80 years old and in a wheelchair. Like a good dude would. Just anyone who's out there being like Chris Pappas is just he's just such a nice man. He's not a nice man. So, if you need help getting involved specifically with this campaign, you can reach out to Banana Brains. Brains very active in YouTube chat, Twitch chat, Riverboat chat, and also the Discord, and we can help you get involved. All right. One of the main takeaways from this channel is I want you guys to give a damn and to get involved. So please consider doing so. Yes, I saw the piss crap us comment, and I did think it was funny, but I couldn't react to that during the interview. Anyway, let's keep on going. I'm active in Twitch chat. You are sometimes, maybe. I don't know. Probably. You could probably get over there if you needed to. God. Great job being normal. I was trying my best. Did I hear about Hawaii passing their version of the Montana plan? Yes, in this very interview. Turns out showing up is half the battle. G.I. Joe! Indeed, Lady Rainclad. Showing up is
Why didn't
genuinely
you let us
half the
derail
battle.
the serious and important interview, sad face?
You know, I just, I let you guys derail an awful lot here on this channel, but, you know, when it comes to the more serious bits, I'm gonna do my damnedest not to let you. Thank you for the $5 dono. Also, Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. And Lily Love Stuff, thank you for the $5 dono. And Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Maybe I should run instead of just upping my TFT stats. I also need to up my TFT stats. The new season started, and I'm absolute dog shit. And also, Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. By that logic, I should run for office. You'd be doing a damn sight better than, like, some of these clans in office, that's for sure. One little Vine boom sound as a treat? I don't know about that. TFT, Team Fortress 2? No, TFT, Teamfight Tactics. It's the game that I play in order to occupy my brain while I'm on the elliptical. I play like 2 rounds of ranked every time I work out. Do we have a little time for a meme song? We absolutely do, because I loved it. It was really good. Hope you guys enjoyed that interview. I worked really hard putting together questions, and I thought they were pretty fun. Thought they were pretty decent. I'm assuming it's the Ratman one.
Is this normal rats like this? That's a normal rat. Normal rats like this. That's a normal rat. Normal rats like this. That's a normal rat.
Oh, hell yeah.
Normal rats like this. That's a normal rat.
Jazz Dog still cooking.
Normal rats like this. That's a normal rat. Normal rats like this. That's a normal rat. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. That's a normal rat. Like this, like this, like this, like this. Sniffs. This, like this, like this, like this, like this. That's a normal rat. Like this, like this, like this, like this. Sniffs. Quite the while, 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 quite the while. You are now a normal rat. Normal rats like this. That's 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 a normal rat. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. That's a normal rat. Like this, like this, like this, like this. Sniffs. This, like this, like this, like this, like this. That's a normal rat. Like this, like this, like this, like this. Sniffs. Quite the while, 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 quite the while. You are now a normal rat. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. That's a normal rat. Like this, like this, like this, like this. Sniffs. This, like this, like this, like this, like this. That's a normal rat. Like this, like this, like this, like this. Sniffs. Quite the while, 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 quite the while. You are now a normal rat.
Loved it. Excellent. Whew. Shimp Pack is the super PAC funded by Sake.
I keep hoping for candidates to be asked about municipal broadband and municipal cellular. but forget that's my personal passion policy and lower pre-OV fascism.
I did want to ask her about like about questions related to like state level issues. But I figured those are questions better directed towards like state level politicians. I would love though for like a federal like a federal recognition of like the importance of internet, and much like the electrification of like the entire United States, like a mass project. In my mind, it'd be somewhat related to a resurrection of the Public Works Administration, where like you just employ like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, millennial folks in order to like go around the country building cool shit, like municipal broadband, for example, and like making sure that like internet access is a right rather
Thanks to
than
it
just a
Forlorn
privilege.
79 for my sub gift smiley face.
Also, Jazz Dog, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Very much appreciated. And Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Very much appreciated as well. Let's go. Let's see. Okay. Also, let me see here. I think I will be done for now, and I might return later with a stream, or I might do an early stream tomorrow. I might just do an early stream tomorrow, because today has been a lot. Maybe I'll do a late night stream tonight. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna call it. I'm just gonna call it a night. We're gonna go early, but I think tomorrow I will be able to go a little bit earlier. And then on Wednesday, I am probably going to be late, just as a FYI. And then Thursday, I'll be on the line from like 2:00 until 5. We'll definitely be doing a stream on the 24th and the 25th. So that is the jam. Happy 420, everybody. And maybe we'll have a belated celebration of the holiday this week. I will also point out, you guys are getting close to the Rudyard number. So, is it Weed Day? It is currently Weed Day, yes. So I was actually pleasantly surprised that so many of you were able to follow along with that interview. I'm really glad that you guys we're doing all right. And this won't mean anything to most of you, but to GamerG, I finally got my Wii, and I think later this week I will be using it on stream.
Rudyard, fear.
Fear. I finally got it. It might be time for the most political game series. Smoke a bowl for freedom. Holy shit. Yes. I got my Wii, and so we will be able to do some Fire Emblem playthrough. Make it Friday? I think I could make it Friday. We could finally play some Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Let's go! I don't smoke. I take edibles because smoke hurts my little lungs. That's an excellent way to partake. Nouge, I don't have it set up, but I do. I did rescue it from my parents' house, and I did have to spend like several hours Cloroxing all of it because it was just so dusty. So it's not set up, but I do have it. It's right there. I can see it from where I'm sitting. Play Goat Simulator while high, to be honest. I've never played Goat Simulator. Alright. I will see you all on a new day, babies. No spoilers, but you literally end racism? Fuck yeah. Alright. Bye, everybody! Bye!